January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and August, September, October, November, December. These are the months of the year. Monday, day, 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 day. Tuesday, day, day, day. Wednesday, day, 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 day. Thursday, day, day, day. Friday, okay, okay. Saturday, okay, okay, okay. Sunday, I say, you say, I say.
So, lights up, curtain up, ladies and gentlemen, for the grandest, most dramatic, most comedic scene Hollywood has ever seen. Imagine us in a magnificent golden hall. Yes, just like in the old days when the stars acted in black and white, and every glance at the camera was a feat of artistry. Today, we present to you why wise people don't argue Machiavelli's hidden law. A lesson in the art of silence, so captivating that even the Oscars would be green with envy. Imagine us in a magnificent golden hall, just like in the old days, when stars acted in black and white, and every glance at the camera was a work of art. Today we present to you why wise people don't argue Machiavelli's hidden law. A masterclass in the art of silence, so gripping that even the Oscars would be green with envy. The actor enters in exaggerated pantomime with a dramatic gesture reminiscent of the great silent film stars. He speaks monologue to the audience with exaggerated facial expressions and irony. Main monologue. Ladies and gentlemen, let me reveal to you a secret that has ruled the world of power for centuries. Yes, even since the days when Machiavelli was still writing, sipping coffee and wielding his pen. He who argues loses. No, not because the arguments are weak, oh no, but because emotions enter the stage like an uninvited guest at an elegant gala. Argument is like a cheap clown running amok at an expensive party. It only makes everything worse. And those who are wise know the real power game is played in the shadows, in silence, in not speaking. The actor pauses theatrically, looks at the audience with a mischievous smile. For, my friends, whoever controls perception controls the world. Machiavelli said that, and he's right. Because that's the ultimate weapon. Not the sword, but the still, cold silence that drives your opponents mad. Imagine you're in an argument, the others are shouting. Voices are rising, sparks are flying. And you're silent, absolutely calm, like an Asian Zen master. And suddenly, everyone only sees you. Not the arguments, no. The only power that counts. Your control over perception. The actor gestures wildly, almost like in a slapstick scene, to emphasize the irony. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't weakness, it's strategy. While others raise their voices, you build your power in silence, in the shadows, like a master chef hiding his secret ingredient to achieve the perfect flavor. And when emotions run high, well, then it's time to leave the stage, to disappear into the shadows and take control. Because whoever shouts loses. The actor takes a dramatic bow, then looks seriously at the audience. Whoever controls perception controls the world. That is the true law of power. And it applies not only to kings and dictators, but to each and every one of us. Yes, even to you, dear viewers. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember, in life's conflicts, silence is golden. Because sometimes you gain more by simply sitting, smiling, and not arguing. That is the art of power. The hidden law that Machiavelli holds in store for us all. The actor makes a bowing gesture. The camera pans, dramatically upward as he gazes into the distance. And now, write in the comments, when has conflict weakened you? And when has silence strengthened you? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Stay calm, stay powerful, and above all, stay silent. With a final exaggerated nod, the actor leaves the stage in the style of a great Hollywood star, striking his last dramatic pose. And so, my friends, our scene ends full of irony, satire, and a touch of Hollywood glamour. And the art director put a lot of extra effort into the staging for this theatrical film.
Relationship Wisdom: 9 Machiavelli Laws to Become Untouchable. The Real Power of Machiavelli. This film reveals hidden layers of psychological strength, inspired by the teachings of Machiavelli and Stoicism. Along the way, you'll understand how silence becomes an advantage, how vulnerability can be used strategically, how masks shape perception, why being independent of the outcome gives true control, and why embracing your own shadow creates true strength. Each chapter reveals the pitfalls of emotions, hidden power plays, useful enemies, and the path to an unbreakable mind. This is no ordinary motivation. It's an invitation to step out of the victim role, see reality for what it is, and take control of your life. How to form a mind so ruthless that it paralyzes people. Machiavelli. How to form a mind so ruthless that it paralyzes people. Machiavelli. Reason becomes a weapon only when it ceases to depend on emotions and people's expectations. Here we will explore how to develop such inner ruthlessness that it paralyzes those around you before you speak. What destroys your power, and who exploits it? Why a cool mind evokes respect and fear. How silence becomes a blow. Emotional autonomy as armor against manipulation. Why unpredictability is the key to power. Machiavelli's psychology in the modern world. People forget kindness, but they remember strength. Machiavelli. The wise man chooses his own, not what pleases others. He who governs himself governs others. Are you ready to see the world through the eyes of strategists? Let us know in the comments. What form of inner strength is most difficult for you? Psychoanalysis, dark psychology, power mentality, Machiavellianism, mind control, strategic thinking, emotional detachment, mental clarity, dominance, cool mind. Introduction: I see silence, slow thinking, high irritability threshold, the art of distance, strategic unpredictability, structural variability and flexibility, emotional autonomy. Conclusion: The film expert explains the film scene. Imagine a stage pulsating like a living painting, full of satirical colors, dramatic shadows, and comedic accents. The audience is invited to immerse themselves in a world where philosophy, psychology, and power games merge into a captivating theatrical spectacle. Here is the staging for a modern art film, performed live, with perfect actors exploring the depths of their roles according to the Stanislavski system, a masterclass in versatility, satire, comedy, and drama. Scene 1. The icy silence. A sparsely lit room. An actor stands at the center, staring stoically at the audience, his lips sealed. The silence is deafening, the tension palpable. The camera zooms in on his face, which embodies the art of distancing, a strategy of control. Dialogues are rare, yet their significance is immense. A shadow casts a voice, sarcastic, full of irony. They say silence is golden, but here it's the iron bulwark. Scene 2. Slow thinking and high irritability. A dialogue between two actors, one calm and thoughtful, the other irritable. The monologues are philosophically and psychologically profound. Thoughts are weapons, but only if we sharpen them. Calmness is true strength. The irritated character loses his temper, but in the next moment, calm returns. A display of self-control, a demonstration of emotional autonomy. Scene 3. The art of detachment and strategic unpredictability. A master of manipulation enters, his gaze cold and calculating. He speaks to another actor who is desperately trying to be emotional. The master says, "He who controls his emotions controls the world." Suddenly, his expression changes, revealing unpredictability, a game of masks, and perception. The audience recognizes how power is acquired through control and strategy. Scene 4. Emotional autonomy and flexibility. A monologue, profound and introspective, delivered by an actor exploring the dark side of power. Only those who master their inner selves are invincible. Emotions are chains or keys. The production demonstrates how flexibility and inner strength make the difference between victim and master. Scene 5. The finale. The Shadow of Machiavelli. A dramatic climax. All the actors appear, each embodying a facet of power. Masks change rapidly, and sarcastic jokes permeate the scene. The narrator summarizes, "True power is a game of shadows, masks, and silence. He who controls everything has nothing to fear." The play ends with thunderous applause as the actors freeze in pose, their eyes filled with irony and profound contemplation. This production challenges the actors to delve deeply into their roles, improvising in the style of Stanislavski to reveal the inner turmoil, strategies, and satirical humor. The audience is not only entertained but also prompted to reflect on power, control, and the darker aspects of the human psyche.
film expert's guide to the next film scene, theater of the finest taste. Imagine stepping onto a stage that resembles the living room of a brilliant psychopath with Baroque furniture so extravagant it borders on satire of decadence, yet everything is so perfectly staged that it's almost hypnotic. The lighting is subdued, a single spotlight focused on the central table upon which rests a cigar, a symbol of power, but also of self-control, or perhaps simply a bad habit. The actors, true masters of their craft in the Stanislavski style, move with a precision and depth that is almost uncanny. One delivers monologues so philosophically and psychologically charged that they raise more questions than they answer. What is power if it is merely an illusion? How does one protect oneself from one's own shadows? Meanwhile, pantomime actors reenact the subtle power games. A glance, a gesture, a seemingly casual nod, all brimming with irony and sarcasm. In the corner, an actor in a suit so modern it almost looks futuristic speaks in a cool voice. Reason is only a weapon when it is devoid of emotion. His movements are controlled, almost robotic, an homage to Machiavelli's cold rationality. Beside him, an actress raises a glass of water with an ironic grin and says, "Silence is the loudest weapon." Her face reflects the inner turmoil of merely feigning true strength. Interspersed throughout are scenes that resemble pantomime performances, where the actors reveal the hidden power games through gestures and facial expressions. A kind of theater within a theater that is simultaneously funny, profound, and unsettling. The dialogues are full of satirical barbs that make the audience think, who needs love when you have control? Emotions are just the chains that bind us to appearances. The production challenges the audience to delve deep into the characters' psyches with monologues based on psychology, philosophy, and dark psychology, but always with a touch of irony. It's a game about power, control, and how to make oneself invincible, inspired by Machiavelli, but also by the great Stoics. And all of this is accompanied by an ingenious stage composition, a blend of classical music, electronic sounds, and absurdist sound effects that underscore the absurdity and irony of the play. The sets are minimalist, yet symbolic, a mirror reflecting one's own soul, a mask concealing one's true identity. In the end, an actor leaves the stage as the lights slowly dim. Only the echo of his last words lingers. True power lies in silence. The audience is left thoughtful, laughing, and unsettled, a perfect blend of comedy, drama, and satire. This isn't your average play. It's a cinematic live performance that challenges you with sarcasm, humor, irony, and profound philosophical insights. A masterclass in the art of psychological manipulation and inner strength, ready to see the world through the eyes of a strategist. Here is a brief summary for Act 2 of the theatrical film, Enjoying Live Life, the Machiavellian method for wealth and prestige, positioning, power, and status. This film reveals why talented people remain undervalued, while others with fewer skills gain prestige, money, and influence. Inspired by Machiavelli's strategic thinking and stoic composure, this narrative shows that value is determined not only by what you do, but also by what you choose not to do. You will learn how to use the principles of scarcity, positioning, personal boundaries, and strategic presence to change the world's perception of you. The key is to overcome reactive behavior. Cultivate your inner strength, become indispensable, and act consciously, not out of fear. It's not about working harder, but about intelligent and effective positioning. Theatrical staging, asterisk asterisk. Living room setting in the style of a psychopathic genius. Baroque, exaggerated decorations, subdued lighting, focus on symbols of power, cigar, masks, mirrors. Actors in the style of Stanislavski, profound, precise movements, monologues full of philosophy and psychology, pantomimic power games, irony, sarcasm, characters, modern, futuristic suits, controlled gestures, ironic dialogue, masks that conceal true identities, performance elements, pantomime, gestures, facial expressions, satirical barbs, absurd sound effects, a mix of classical and electronic music, set design, minimalist, symbolic, mirrors, masks, reflections, inner psyche, power games, mood, profound, satirical, humorous, disturbing, ironic, with philosophical depth, and deserted stage, dim light, echo of a final sentence, true power lies in silence. Well, in the images, only visual elements reflecting the complex, satirical, philosophical themes of the theater. Addendum to this text, as the most important and central film scene. Here is the perfect theatrical scene idea for your modern art film, full of satirical humor, irony, drama, and philosophy, inspired by Stanislavski, Machiavelli, and dark psychology. Scene concept: the living room of the power genius. Setting: an opulent, exaggeratedly Baroque living room, almost a satire on decadence. Mirrors and masks everywhere. A large, dark table with a cigar in the center. The light is subdued, focused on the central scene to create a hypnotic, almost trance-like atmosphere. Characters: the strategic master, cool, controlled, with a mask-like expression, in a futuristic suit. The ironic observer, with an ironic grin, raises a glass of water, appears inwardly torn. Pantomime performer, playing subtle power games, glances, gestures, nods, all full of irony and sarcasm. The philosopher, quiet monologues, profound, full of philosophical questions. What is power? Scene elements. Monologues full of psychological and philosophical questions that prompt the audience to reflect. Pantomime actions. Gestures that symbolize power, masquerade, and manipulation. Ironic dialogues. Who needs love when control is enough? Silence is the loudest weapon. Sound. A mix of classical music, electronic sounds, and absurdist effects to enhance the surreal satirical tone. Decorations. Mirrors, masks, reflections, symbolizing inner psyche and masquerade. And the last actor leaves the stage. The lights slowly dim. Only an echo remains. True power lies in silence. The whole thing is a cinematic live performance full of irony, satire, and psychological depth, perfect for a modern art and theater aesthetic. This is a fantastic and incredibly creative idea for a modern, satirical theater and film performance. The combination of golden Hollywood glamour, exaggerated characters, profound Machiavelli-esque teachings, and sharp wit creates a unique atmosphere that evokes both laughter and reflection. Here are some suggestions and feedback to further refine the production. Machiavelli. 7 types of people you can't trust. They'll use you. This film delves into the psychological and strategic thinking of Niccolo Machiavelli to reveal an uncomfortable truth. Many of our most dangerous enemies are not outside, but within our inner circle and within ourselves. The narrative leads the viewer through relationships marked by subtle manipulation, emotional dependency, false loyalty, morality disguised as virtue, and quiet envy. Throughout the story, Machiavelli emerges as a guiding presence, teaching us to recognize hidden patterns, protect our own emotional sovereignty, and understand the power of silence, restraint, and strategic distance. More than simply identifying toxic people, the film exposes the internal weaknesses that allow these intrusions to occur and points to a clear path to transformation, self-control, clarity, and conscious relationship choices. Dense, dark, and provocative content for those ready to see beyond appearances and take control of their own lives. 1. Stylistic exaggeration. The actors should play their roles with a high degree of irony and caricature to emphasize the satirical nature of the performance. For example, the cynic could constantly roll his eyes or speak with an ironic undertone. 2. Visual elements. The Picasso collages and Hollywood icons are a brilliant idea. Perhaps projections could be made more dynamic to visualize the shifting power struggles and intrigues. For example, a stage that transforms into a hypnotic kaleidoscope of images. 3. Dialogues and monologues. The text is already very pointed. Additionally, short, humorous interludes or monologues could be incorporated, parodying well-known political or business pronouncements to further amplify the satire. 4. Musical accompaniment. An ironic soundtrack in the background, for example, with familiar Hollywood melodies used in a new context, could sharpen the atmosphere even more. 5. Audience interaction. Brief, playful audience participation, such as direct questions or ironic comments, could immerse the viewers even more deeply in the satirical world. 6. Humor and sarcasm. The manipulative character could repeatedly employ small, seemingly harmless rhetorical tricks that are actually manipulations. For example, showing a rose while simultaneously conveying a hidden message. 7. Profundity. Despite all the exaggeration, the message should remain clear. The danger lies hidden within ourselves and in the masks we wear. This could be reinforced by a fine final scene in which all the characters remove their masks only to put on new ones, symbolizing the eternal cycle. Overall, the concept is a masterpiece of satirical art that, through the combination of visual effects, excellent acting, and profound content, creates an unforgettable experience for the audience.
Comes of earth. Heritage leaves your mind. I don't fall like a comet. To the quiet, to the dark. Take me down to the depths where the truth doesn't echo, where I don't have to pretend I'm still above it all. I've been holding my breath, waiting for something to shift. If I sink any further, at least it's honest. You keep your distance measured, like a line you won't cross. I keep calling it patience, Even when it feels like loss, there's a comfort in repetition, in knowing how this ends. I trace the outline of leaving and stare at where I am. Oh, I've learned how to stay quiet, how to make myself small. Every silence gets louder, every answer stalls. Take me down to the depths, where the truth doesn't echo, where I don't have to pretend I'm still about it all. I've been holding my breath, waiting for something to say. If I sink any further, least it's mine. I don't need saving, I need release. Let the pressure tell me what I'm meant to be. If I break, let it be clean. No surface, no rescue scene. Down in the depths, I start negotiating. Down in the depths, I feel my fate again. With sunrise, let me choose. If I stay right at end, in the depths, you find me with me. One times 8 equals 8. 2 times 8 equals 16. 3 times 8 equals 24. 4 times 8 equals 32.
Of course. Here's a staging idea for a modern cinematic theatre performance in the Golden Hollywood style, creating a satirical, humorous, and yet profound atmosphere. Imagine a stage designed like an extravagant mix of Picasso collage, Golden Hollywood glitz, and dramatic theatricality. The actors are exaggeratedly stylized, each a star in their own role, with expressive faces that almost speak louder than the dialogue. Scene, the game of power. Stage, a backdrop in the style of a golden, glamorous theatre, with large, dramatic curtains draped with black and pastel Picasso collages. In the background, shimmering gold frames display iconic portraits of dramatic figures, alluding to power and strategy. A scenic chaos of oversized, artificial feathers, glitter, and expensive accessories. Characters. 1. The confident one-star actor. 1. Charming, with an exaggeratedly large peacock feather in his hat, constantly striking a pose and scanning the audience with sharp eyes. 2. The manipulative one-star actor. Charming, yet with a piercing gaze, always with a strategy in mind, wearing a tailored suit and carrying a rose. 3. The naive one-star actor. 3. Fresh, innocent, with a broad smile, believing everything that is said, but secretly seeing through it all. 4. The cynic star actor. 4. With an ironic grin almost always on his lips, He wears black sunglasses under the theatre spotlight. Dialogue and staging with humor, irony, and satire. The curtain rises. The actors pose, each in their star position. The audience is drawn into a mixture of glamour, irony, and profound satire. The confident one with a dramatic gesture. Those who trust in themselves stand firm. Asterisk. He strikes a pose reminiscent of a shining hero as the camera cuts to the star of self-confidence. Asterisk. The manipulative one, smiling mischievous. And fortune favors the bold, ladies and gentlemen. Asterisk. He winks while twirling a gold coin in his hand. Asterisk. The naive one. But what if I choose my own path? She looks naive, but a hint of irony flickers in her eyes. The cynic, with a sarcastic grin. A wise prince chooses his own path, or he makes everyone else think they have one too. He raises an eyebrow as the others smirk. Short monologue. The self-assured one steps forward, striking a dramatic pose reminiscent of Machiavelli. In this theatre of power, it's not enough just to be good. No, respect is earned, not given. You have to command the stage, intimidate the audience with body language, with silence, with the art of non-participation, because whoever asks for permission is already lost. He pauses, looks at the audience, and says, sarcastically, "And if you think you're too small to make a difference, forget it. The smallest movement can cause the greatest chaos." Decorations and visual elements. Large, dramatic projections of Picasso portraits in black and white, shimmering in pastel colors. Golden Hollywood icons flickering in the background. Oversized accessories, scepters, sunglasses, feather boas repeatedly reinforce the characters' positions of power. And all four characters gather in a dramatic, almost comical pose. The cynic raises his hand. And now the most important lesson. How do you become so confident that others fear you? Quite simply, you show them your true colors, and that's usually a mask full of irony. Lights dim, curtain falls, audience applauds, while the actors strike exaggerated, rigid poses that underscore the paradox of their roles. A visual collage film, theatricality, created in the style of Picasso or Hollywood glamour, based on the world's best Stanislavski system for actors in modern expressions of our time. Enjoy the theatre of modern Machiavelli.
Here is an extended version for a documentary about the connection between modern film technology and aesthetic innovation. Ideal for a film documentary. Film industry expert shares his opinion on this topic. Documentary title: New Aesthetics in Hollywood, the Fusion of Technology and Art. Introduction. Today, we are witnessing a revolutionary development in the film industry, where cutting-edge digital technologies merge with artistic innovation. This fusion creates a completely new aesthetic that blends traditional Hollywood productions with avant-garde art forms. The Five Stars Multimedia Group is at the forefront of this movement, setting new standards in visual storytelling. Chapter 1: The Evolution of Film. From classic Hollywood aesthetics to the digital revolution. Historically, Hollywood has consistently used technological innovations to expand the boundaries of storytelling. Today, it is CGI, digital image processing, virtual reality, and other digital tools that are transforming the creative landscape. These technologies make it possible to create visual worlds that previously seemed impossible, offering a new level of immersion and emotional depth. Chapter 2: Artistic Innovation Through Digital Art. Modern filmmakers integrate principles of contemporary art and avant-garde techniques into their works. Inspired by artists like Picasso, who experimented with collage and abstract forms, modern films are emerging that impress with innovative image compositions, superpositions, and artistic visual language. The result is art films that are both visually stunning and profound. Chapter 3: New Narrative Structures and Visual Storytelling. By combining traditional narrative techniques with digital innovations, narrative masterpieces are created that take audiences on emotional journeys. The integration of cinematic brilliance, artful image design, and experimental storytelling methods leads to immersive worlds that captivate viewers and remain in their memories long after the film has ended. Chapter 4: The Role of Modern Media and Digital Content Creation. With the ability to produce high-quality digital content, the range of cinematic possibilities expands. Whether feature films, art films, or museum archives, digital technology makes it possible to seamlessly combine art and film and create new exhibition opportunities in museums and cultural institutions. This gives rise to innovative forms of presentation that immerse audiences in interactive and educational experiences. Chapter 5: The Vision of Five Stars Multimedia Group. This group combines a passion for storytelling with cutting-edge technology. Their goal is to create visual masterpieces that are both artistically and technologically groundbreaking. They develop films that impress with visual innovation, artistic originality, and technical perfection. Their work is characterized by a unique aesthetic that combines the best of Hollywood and modern digital art. Conclusion: the future of film lies in the creative fusion of technology and art. This new era makes it possible to tell stories in unprecedented ways, enhance emotional depth, and create visual experiences that deeply move the viewer. The combination of traditional Hollywood with modern digital art creates an innovative aesthetic that will have a lasting impact on the film industry. Osip Mandelstam, Silentium Dramatic Romance. This touches your soul. The most beautiful musical adaptation of the Silver Age masterpiece, Silentium, by Osip Mandelstam. Welcome to the Poetic Oasis channel. Today, we present a unique musical interpretation of one of Osip Mandelstam's most philosophical and profound poems, Silentium. Written in 1910, this work became a manifesto of the poet's early work. It is dedicated to the birth of art, that fine line where words and music have not yet separated and the world remains in its pristine purity. About the author, Osip Mandelstam, 1891, 1938, is one of the greatest poets of the 20th century, a prophet and martyr whose words survived repression and oblivion. Silentium was written during his period of fascination with symbolism, but even then it conveyed the precision and crystalline clarity of the future Acmaced poem text. She has not yet been born. She is both music and word, and therefore, of all living things, an unbreakable bond. The seas of my chest breathe calmly, but, like a madman, the day is bright, and the pale lilac of foam, in a black azure vessel, may my lips regain the original silence, like a crystalline note, pure from birth, remain foam, Aphrodite, and return the word to music, and be ashamed of the heart, merged with the very essence of life. Title: Soul Comedy in the Mirror of Light, a philosophical humorous odyssey. The play Soul Comedy in the Mirror of Light is a humorous, philosophical, poetic, theatrical journey that stages the soul as a Hollywood star. It portrays the body as a temporary theater, the soul as an unforgettable diva, and the inner struggle between animalistic, rational, and divine aspects. Through scenes full of irony and the style of old Hollywood, the search for inner peace, love, and knowledge is depicted, with true beauty lying in silent dialogue with oneself. The work combines the teachings of Manly P. Hall with Mandelstam's poetic soul, with irony revealing that life is a performance that leads to truth only in silence. The title could be Soul Review, Hollywood's Last Secret, or The Soul's Final Act, A Comedy of Light. Scene Overview. Scene 1. The Body as a Hollywood Setting. A glamorous, opulent room in the style of old Hollywood. A charismatic actor, reminiscent of Humphrey Bogart and imbued with Stanislavskian perfection, assumes the role of the soul's temple guardian. He speaks with ironic sharpness about the body, which he describes as merely a temporary home like a chic villa that one leaves after the party. With a twinkle in his eye, he declares, "The body is just the Hollywood star. The soul is the director." Scene 2. The soul as an infinite diva. On a stage of light and shadow, an elegant dancer appears, embodying the unforgettable, immortal soul inspired by Mandelstam's Silentium. She sings a morbid melody, both beautiful and sorrowful, like an old Hollywood love story. The actor enters, makes an embarrassed gesture, and says, "She is music and word, our eternal star, whom we constantly try to feed, but who is actually just waiting for silence." Scene 3. The Battle of the Parts. A comedic dialogue between the rational, animal, and divine parts of the soul, portrayed by three actors with irony and exaggeration. The animal part, in a leather jacket, with a gruff voice, shouts, "I just want money. That's my happiness." The rational part, in a suit with glasses, replies, "But what good is money if the soul is hungry?" The divine part, in bright flowing costume, says, "Only through love and knowledge can we find our way out of the Hollywood chaos." Scene 4. The Labyrinth of Experience. The space transforms into a labyrinth, a symbol for life. An actor in a bowler hat, ironically, stumbles around, commenting, "In here, the soul tests its abilities, like a Hollywood star rehearsing its moves in the prop room. All it takes is the courage to engage in the inner dialogue of silence." Scene 5. Inner Peace as a Showstopper. A monologue by the master actor, who elevates inner peace to the highest art. Only in silence does one realize that the true role is that of the observer. The rest is just a fog of glamour and illusion. He concludes with a grand gesture. And those who love their soul don't need an Oscar, just a moment of true silence. Analysis. This play, in the style of a classic Hollywood production, humorously blends the profound teachings of Manly P. Hall with the poetic beauty of Mandelstam. It portrays the soul as an unforgettable star, lost in the labyrinth of emotions and appearances, only to discover its true nature in silence. The irony lies in the fact that we live in a world of surfaces, while true beauty resides in inner dialogue. The characters embody the three parts of the soul according to Greek philosophy, heightened by the style of old Hollywood, and playfully illustrate that our greatest performance is self-discovery. The humorous irony underscores how easily we lose ourselves in the hustle and bustle, while true treasures, love, peace, insight, are found only in silence. Thank you for these profound and poetic texts. For a perfect cinematic scene that blends the philosophical, spiritual, and emotional elements, I suggest a dramatic, moving staging that immerses the audience in a world of faith, doubt, love, and self-discovery. Here is a possible scene in a theatrical, cinematic style inspired by Hollywood icons with a powerful title. Title: In the Shadow of the Light, The Journey of the Chosen. Scene: a lonely, deserted place at sunrise. The sky is bathed in soft gold and pink hues. Two figures stand facing each other, one in shadow, the other in light. The atmosphere is heavy, full of poetic intensity. Persona 1, in a calm, profound voice. Heaven spoke. Just watch on your own now. A call that burns in the heart. For those who are chosen, called by the light, who walk the path between darkness and faith. Persona, too hesitant, full of doubt, but with inner strength. The shadow is my companion, yet the light always calls me back. Faith is not always easy, yet in the silence I hear the voice that carries me. Even when everything seems dark, Persona 1 softly, almost like a prayerful voice. The path of the chosen is lonely, yet full of divine signs. Every decision, every trial, is part of God's grand plan. Suddenly, a beam of light appears, breaking through the clouds, symbolic of divine inspiration. The light embraces the scene as the voices grow softer, almost like a prayer. Person 2 with rising confidence. I am chosen, called by heaven, to illuminate the darkness, to live love, and to walk the path of faith. Person 1 smiling, full of wisdom. The key lies within, in faith, which is stronger than doubt. Trust the divine sign, for you are the soul that seeks the light. The light grows. The scene ends with a view of the sky, shining with hope and divine energy. Philosophical foundation and wisdom lesson. This scene conveys the central message that every person, especially the chosen ones, is on a spiritual path characterized by light and shadow. Doubt, loneliness, and trials are part of growth. But trust in a higher power and inner light ultimately lead to truth and happiness. It is a lesson about faith, devotion, and the awareness that life is a divine journey where every step matters.